Good day, everyone. I'm going to do a installation of a Linux system called Cachyos today. It's one of the best distros I have tested. So a bit context around this in October last year, wow, it's close to a year soon, I started looking into Linux, and it's been quite of a journey, to be honest. I have done some distro jumping, I did benchmarking, I have been looking into file systems, and I wanted to go into Linux, dual booting, having two systems like Windows and Linux at the same time. And I wanted to be a gamer first of all, or I am a gamer first of all, so this is the distro I came to that has been the best distro so far for gaming in 2023, still is to date in June of 2024. So let's get into it. This guide will provide you with information from Windows, the tools you need, the installation process, and pretty much everything you need to know from getting into, let's say you want to game like 3 minutes after you have gotten into Linux, everything will be here. I will be explaining a bit about the package managers, how to use it, and the most basic things if you are absolutely never touched Linux in your life and you want to try it. So let's go ahead and start this process. When you actually install, like I'm going to do, with Windows on one side and Linux on the other part, I want you to go and right click on your start menu. Sorry, this is Norwegian by the way, but this is disk management. Go into the disk management, and I want you to locate your C drive. C drive is what I use for Cachyos. So I have my C drive here, and this part here is my Linux drive. So what you can do here, I have a pretty beefy C drive. So what I like to do here, or you have to do, is reducing the volume, or shrinking is probably another word in English. So when you come into the shrinking part here, you will be greeted with this screen right here. This is your total and the basic of the how much space you want to do. So into here you put in the space. This is a 2 terabyte disk. Hang on, no, sorry, 4 terabytes. So I split it in like 50-50, as you see here, and the other part. So you take this number and divide it by 50, just use a calculator, and reduce afterwards down here. Afterwards you will have a new part here. It will be raw. Leave it raw, because you don't want to format it or do anything. You just want to raw because the installation process will do the rest for us. My capture card has died, so I need to use one of my GoPros to film the installation process afterwards, so you will see a little bit different angles and things, but we should be fine. It's a 4K camera, 30 FPS, so it shouldn't be a problem. The installation process is pretty much pretty easy as well. So after you have done that, you go into Ventoy. So that's ventoy.net, and you go to the Downloads tab and download for Windows. That will be the zip file. Alright, so when you download it, you need to extract the file, and you're sitting with a folder like this. And in here you want to go to Ventoy to disk, and you are greeted with a screen like right here. So when you plug in your USB flash drive, as you see on my screen, I got mine inside already installed. All you need to do is install. You can also update it without putting your data to at risk. It just updates, nothing more. It doesn't delete anything later on. So the great thing about using Ventoy as a tool like this, it can't go wrong, right? So we have this disk right here. I usually have different other operating systems. This operating system in the background here is a modified Windows called Atlas. So I have it over here. So you can see I have many ISOs right here. So this ISO right here is the default one that is public right now. The other one is a test ISO that I'm going to be testing and showing you the installation process for today. So all you do is just copy your ISO into the USB, and you are pretty much good to go afterwards, right? By the way, where to find it? You need to go to Cachyos.org, or here, download, and download desktop edition. So that is the ISO you're going to drag over to your USB. That's pretty much it. Now I need to boot out of the system, and I need to get my GoPro active. So see you in a second. Alright, that should do it, right? Let me just check, just clean up the lens in case, and adjust it a little bit. That should be pretty much everything you need to see. Alright, there we go. So let's start the process and restart. Hello. I have some RAM trimming in the background of each restart. Takes good 10 seconds for the testing and everything. The next part here is the BIOS. It can be a bit difficult when it comes to the BIOS. You need to find how to get into BIOS. For me, it's an Asus, Dell, or F2. Alright? So when we have entered the BIOS, we need to actually go into something called Secure Boot. For me, I'm using an AM5 card from Asus. So it's under the boot, and then we go into secure boot and change from Windows UEFI mode into other OS, operating systems, right? And custom. That's pretty much everything you need to do inside the BIOS. The trick part is many BIOS is different. I have also a laptop. I was actually struggling a bit with that, so you actually need to test a little bit from time to time. So anyways, let's boot into Ventoy. When you actually here with your USB flash drive, you will have two right now. One is for booting and the other one is a partition. So let's get into the partition. That was the wrong one. Last time it was the opposite. So I thought I learned something, but there we go. This is Ventoy. So from here you see my Cachyos ISOs. You also see my Windows ISO, because Ventoy, you can put as many ISOs you want into the disk. That's one of the great things about this one. So this is the default one that's public right now, and this one is the testing one that we are going to do. It's just updated a few things for AM5 cards and stuff like that. If you need help updating for AM5 or the from Zen 5 and Zen 6, Zen 4 and Zen 5, sorry. That's a thing that you can getting optimized for the AM5 platform. So let's go, and we're going to boot into normal mode. Here we are greeted with Cachyos and Cachyos with NVIDIA closed source driver. Even though I have a 40 card, I can actually go into Cachyos without doing NVIDIA. I got an NVIDIA 4090 in here, and 7800 X3D CPU. So even though I didn't go in as where I'm using an NVIDIA card, the great thing here is it has an auto detection of all hardware. This is superb thing that Cachyos does. When you install Cachyos, and it does everything for you. This is, by the way, an Arch distro fork, meaning it will stay on the bleeding edge. So you're getting the latest stuff. This I found to be best if you are a gamer, because it provides so many new things all the time, where it actually makes your game work day one, out of the box, no issues, nothing, no problems at all. We are almost there. So from my side, I think I mentioned this a bit before, but I did a 5-month distro jumping, testing the most populars, the tier list of distros, everything. This distro right here wasn't there, it was just mentioned. I had an interest in testing everything, so I did around 20 distros where I tested the performance of them in gaming, and this one was different, it was special. So the way it was different and special, it was very easy for me to get into it. I was testing Nobara, Garuda, we went into clean distros in Fedora, we tried Ubuntu, we tried Mint and Debian, everything, like Pop, and yeah, you know them all. So this is the launcher. I need to actually get going here. I'm going to explain more when we are inside Cachyos, because I don't have that much battery and I'm a bit afraid that this camera can overheat. So let's get going. So you need to go in and let's put this desktop, this screen as primary, so you can see the rest here. You need to be online for this one because it's a live ISO. Let me change things around here. Style, we want to fit content. There we go. So down here, you need to connect to the internet. Oops. But I'm already connected. If you are Wi-Fi, do that. So, launcher installer, we are going to do it my way for dual booting into Windows. There's already a Linux system here, but my camera died, so this is the second recording for you guys. Many use Grub, systemd, and all that things. I like Refined because of the interface it gives me when I boot. It has a nice graphical boot option for you. If you're not interested in that, or going with clean or anything, then choose whatever. We are going to do it my way today. So Refined, the bootloader. Let's see, hang on. The bootloader is a taste thing, in my opinion. Let's see. I'm going to use British English, so it's more easy for you guys. So you see, don't see the Norwegian part of this. So Europe, Oslo, next. Here I'm going to actually do the Norwegian keyboard, because we have some letters that most other don't have. So I'm going to use with the dead keys, no dead keys I mean. And here's the installation part. If you want to install it without Windows, erase the disk and go. But we are going to dual boot, so meaning we are going into manual partitioning and next. So for Refined to find our Windows and boot correctly, we go to the FAT32 up here and we press edit. Don't format it, then you don't have a Windows afterwards. Just let it be on keep. Don't think about the size, because this one will resize on its own to match whatever we are putting in here for dual booting. So we go to the mount point and we choose boot EFI /boot/EFI. So now it's resizing as it is. Here you would find the other disks of yours, and you will find a raw file system here. And we are going to edit this one. If it was, but I did have Linux on it before, so I just wanted to teach you guys as far as I go now to install Cachyos. So this one we are formatting and choosing our file system. On the file systems there are a lot of talk. I will break it down pretty quickly ext4 if you're a gamer using desktop normally. If you want to go like for backups, or not backups but storage and Linux servers, that is XFS you use, because it can handle large files. ext4 handles better smaller size files, and the default of this distro is something I don't like to use. For me, let's see, you would have BTRFS. BTRFS is a backup system that snapshots all the time. It's better to use this file system if you're on HDD. If you are using your computer for work-related stuff, because the two others, if you have a power shortage or anything, everything will be lost. But not with this file system right here. So XFS, Linux servers and storage, BetterFS with, well, work stuff related things, right? And if you are a gamer, normal user, browsing videos, content creating and all that, ext4. Alright, I can go really technical about this, but we are not going to do that today. So you need to choose a mount point again here. Just use /. That will be the whole system. Alright, and press OK. Everything now is ready to install. Did I? Yeah, format. I had to check, so I didn't do anything wrong. So next, and here it will say that we are resizing DFI, so it has both Windows and Linux. Here you have a lot of desktops. You can choose not to have a desktop at all. I use Plasma Desktop because that's more like Windows. GNOME, it's more like well, Apple, I guess. So there are many things to choose from. This is a part where you can explore later on, I think. So next, now we are into the additional packages. Here you don't have to really do anything. I do one thing. I'm not using the Cachy browser, I use my own browser, so I don't usually install the Cachy browser. A Cachy browser is a fork out of Firefox, so it's pretty good. I don't use Firefox on a daily basis because I'm syncing a lot of my files. But here's everything you need, so you don't need to really do anything. If you need printer support, you tick that. You want language packages for Firefox, you put in that. Everything here, nothing to worry about. So we're going to go next. Here you put in your user. I'm Vexy. Hello, by the way. And your password. You need to have a password. I'm like a lone wolf living in a apartment down in the basement, like all of the nerds. So I use logging automatically when I'm starting my computer. So you don't have to do that. You can, if you want to use two different systems with X11 and Wayland, you can switch by going out, or yeah, whatever. That's not important right now because Plasma is pretty much alright with Wayland, so we don't have any problems anymore. So Wayland is the default, so let's go. Here it will verify. The yellow part here now is the NTFS system, my Windows, and this is the new ext4 Linux part, and we press install. So now it needs to do its thing. This process doesn't take too long, luckily. So I can probably talk about the journey I did. I started off with Nobara. It was like the glorious egg roll maintainer that has made operating system for gamers, and actually is that. I was not too lucky with those installations. Nobara had a problem at the time. I was sitting for a long time trying to make it work. Every time I updated it, it broke. We also had problem with syncing, so everything was flashing and strobing on my screen. So he had 4 updates that I need to go through. It had to update like from 1.1 to 1.2, 1.3 and 1.4, right? So the problem that I actually did get into was 1.2 was unstable, 1.3 was not bootable. And I needed to get to 1.4 because that was the working one. He fixed it later on, but it took me 2 months. I was pretty fed up with Linux at that time. It was a really bad experience. And then we did test Garuda. Garuda was really confusing for me. Everything was colorful and it looked like, well, the icon was an icon. It didn't like match anything, so I didn't know half of the time what I was clicking on and everything. It was a steep learning curve. So anyways, back to Cachyos. It's an Arch Linux. It's not meant for beginners, but this time around I think it's for beginners, at least for Cachyos, because it sets up everything. You don't have to do shit, right? So this is what I'm going to show you today, how to get running and just use your desktop. The other thing about Cachyos right here is it auto detects your system. And by auto detecting the system, it will find your hardware, drivers, everything. You don't have to do anything, at least for my system. Yeah. And when it comes to gaming, there's one button and you are up and running. So we are done. So now we want to go and restart. Now you're going to take out your USB when it's done. I go all the way through. Black screen, take it out. And now you're going to see Refined Boot Manager. It's clean, it's easy, and it's the way I like it. That's why I'm going to show it to you guys today. And back to the RAM trimming. And here we are. I want Windows, I press enter on this one. I want Linux, I press enter on this one. This has, if you don't touch any keys, it will boot from the last operating system you used. Let's go into Linux. Snazzy. With the Cachyos logo. Sorry, I had to. But now it's time for coffee. And I'm going to install OBS so you can see how everything works. So, be right back again. Okay, so we are back. The sound might be a bit strange. I didn't put up anything around my microphone and everything, so excuse if it's a bit weird. But this right here is what you see when you actually start up for the first time. I'm going to show you a little bit how things works here and what I used to do. So first I go to the apps and tweaks. Here I want to activate my Bluetooth password, and PPF tune is something I always activate. Yes. Some optimizing. I use App Armor. It's protecting the system. There we go. And now we're going to look into the first things you need to do. I usually rank the mirrors. This is like a speed test for the servers that you're going to connect up to and find the best and the quickest downloads. This is a quick process. When you're done, press enter. I use DNS server. It's Cloudflare for quicker response on things. Alright. And as a Windows user, where's the X? Right. Click on the upper part here and close. I thought actually it was broken the first time. So let me show you around a bit before we start installing stuff. This is the Cachyos package installer. It has like VM if you want to use a virtual machine. Here's OBS, I installed that. That's the only thing I did between or after installing now. VLC is installed, everyone knows VLC or video player. So this is pretty much if you want a new browser, you can just tick it here and it installs it for you, right? And then you have kernel manager, where you choose your kernel. This is the new part where I'm doing the test. This is the Zen 4 kernel. This kernel is all new. It's the AM5 kernel. This is getting installed by default on this ISO, so you don't have to do anything. Not on the default right now. The default one or the new ISO for this to take effect comes soon. I didn't ask Peter for when it's going to release it, because it's under testing, and that's what we are doing here right now for testing. There's a lot of questions that people want to use different, like bore. We have the standard Cachyos, the LTS, the Shed XT. To be fair, just use the standard, what your computer installs. It knows what's the best for your system, in a way. So default is the best. I have tested everything around gaming. I could see different performances, but it was like a blue car and a red car. It was pretty much the same. So default one is really good and stable. So stay with the defaults. If you have questions later on, just come by to the Discord. You find the Discord on the Cachyos side if you need help with anything, right? So maybe someone can explain different things, because people have different types of needs, right? But for gaming side of things, it's perfect as it is. So here is something that KDE comes with. KDE Plasma, the desktop, it uses Discover. Cachyos does not use Discover because of the packages, so unpin, be gone. So the package manager that is used with Cachyos is Octopi. Octopi, find here. I tend to pin to task manager, so I always have it down here, and I'm also going to change the desktop a bit for my likings as Windows user. So I did enter the edit mode here, and I don't want floating. I use fit content like this. That's pretty much it. There we go. Nice and clean. This one we're going to put upside here, because I'm going to show you the installed game packages in a second. So let's go into Octopi for a second. So this is the way that you are going to install your stuff on Linux, or I do. So let's say you want Discord, right? Discord, and it's under extra, and we have the Cachyos. So you start to wonder. You are going to go with this one. How do I know? Because I know. No, it's like how to tell the difference. You can pretty much, either it's under extra or something with Cachyos, you're safe. Ta-ta, that's all. Now you have Discord. See? And so on the screen here. There we are, Discord. Takes a bit of time to load the first time. There we go. Let's see. I use a different browser, right? So it's called Thorium. I type Thorium. It's not here, right? So this not or Thorium is not an official package. So I need to go into the green alien head over there. Thorium. And there we go. Usually what I install is bin file. Also, something you can look for is votes. The highest votes is probably the one that you want. So I'm going to show you something that you quite won't understand as a Windows user coming to Linux. Now I'm pressing install. This is different. So we are going to install this, yes, and it stops. You don't understand why it stops, right? So what it does here, it tells you about things. So you actually need to quit out of this for making the install. For quitting out the info site, you press Q, and now you can install it. Yes. See? There is things that can be like not self-explanatory in a way. So that's why I'm here right now. I'm no Linux expert. I'm in close to a year soon, so I'm getting a lot better. I'm really satisfied where everything is going right now with Linux. The gaming is pretty much superb, at least from what I'm seeing, and the benchmarks are not that far off from Windows. Sometimes you have games that is made natively for Linux. Those would actually play in a performance-wise side a lot better than Windows. Let's see, put on our password. There we go. Now we have Thorium. Let's see, Thorium. What? Where is my pin to? Oh, it probably needs to open up the first time. The encryption size, classic, don't need it. And my wallet, that is something else that it uses, so I'm not going to sign in right now. So there we go. That is my type of browser. It's like Google Chrome without all the tracking stuff and patching, and it's in my eyes it's better. Some don't like it because the user has a standpoint that is, well, political, so they don't use it just because of that. I'm not that person. The guy that made this browser is amazing. He is insane at what he does with the browser, so that's why I'm using it. Just to explain myself, because some people are getting mad because I'm using it because it's political. Well, I don't care about politics. There we go. Now let's get into gaming and show you how easy it is. Here you have the install gaming package, and we always want to go with default and yes. Whoops. I managed to actually press an extra button there, sorry. 1 and yes. My bad. So what it does now, it installs everything you need for playing games, and I mean everything. There we go. So Steam is right here, right now. So we're going to pin, like to have it down there, and it's going to install. By the way, you see this? This is a problem. This is a KDE problem. You're going into display settings, and when you have a 4K like me, scale by the system, apply. Now you see that it actually did scale up, so it's going to be a proper size. It's a bit buggy yet when it comes to this part, but now you see we have a bigger, some bigger text here, and we're not going to show our sign-in QR code. So let me log in from my phone. There we go, log in. One second, I want to do something I always do, something I like. I like to have a wobbly desktop. Wobbly and translucency. There we go. It's just a thing. See? This is something I like. I like to see what I have in the background when I move things around. And it's just a nice, wibbly wobbly thing. So you find that, by the way, under Windows Management and Desktop Effects. You scroll down to Translucent and Wobbly Windows. Let's see. There is really not much to do here, but I'm going to show you what you have to do. Settings. Compatibility, restart. You have to turn on the compatibility so it runs Windows games. I don't have any games installed so far. Let's take something as Hades, just released. Or it's actually in early access. So in the background here, it downloads Steamworks. This will launch natively, so you'll have some great performance with this. So let me explain a few things while it comes in here. So the default is Proton Cachyos. That's pretty much alright to use. If you are wanting to tackle like something that is really new, as like day one launch, maybe you need to go into Proton Experimental for making that game work. This is the Valve latest release, so you know. We are going to install another thing while we're here, and we are going to go here and type Proton up, and you have Proton up Qt. Okay, and yes. There we go. That was very easy. Proton Up is different ways to tackle the Windows games, and I'm going to show you how you're using this one. So when you're on a screen like this, you can download something called GE Proton. This guy, he makes custom protons that works for some of the games that doesn't work with the Valve version of Proton. He makes some patches to it and fix maybe if there's an issue, right? So we want to grab the GE Proton, the guy that has no bara, by the way. The Linux system I was struggling with. He knows what he's doing here. All kudos here. Another Proton I like to have in hand is TKG. It's Proton with some patches into the Wine. Wine is a program that handles Windows programs and games. And it's really good. There's some games that doesn't work. I put on the TKG and it works. It's pretty like the experimental with patches. And then the last thing I like to have is Steam Tinker Launcher. This is, oh, let's see, found. So it's missing something here. Okay, so there's some tools we need here. So we copy it straight out. And I have the Cachyos Extra Senmer version 4. So I'm going to go with that one and install. Yes. There we go. And we need the Xwin info. Linux is not hard. And we need yard. That's everything you need. So let's do that again. Install. No issues. Oh yeah, just press OK, no worries. So you can launch into commands and different stuff from this one. It's great to use if you are going to mod games or play Bethesda games. Bethesda and Linux is its own capital. So yeah, chapter, I mean, sorry. We are using something Norwegian English words here, sorry. So anyways, it's nice to have a new computer. Let's see. So now we have installed our game. and pretty much it just play the game like on Windows. Perfect. So that is pretty much how you get into Linux and Linux gaming. I'm going to explain a quick thing. Compatibility, hang on, storage, downloads. On the downloads, if you are not on a like a card like me, like a 4090 or a 40 series, if you're on 20 series, 30 series AMD card, turn background processing on Vulkan shaders. I don't need it on my card. It's too much beast to handle games. Let's see, is there anything else we need to explain while we're here? Let's see. We have performance mode under the power management. This one is not for locking your screen. I usually put that on when I start up Linux. That's one thing. Lutris, of course. It's going to download everything you need. Let's see. You don't use Lutris with Steam. Don't do that. This is emulating exe files, and if you want to play like something like Genshin Impact or Blizzard games, if I want Blizzard, I go into the plus sign over here and search, right? And we are going to search for Battle.net, and we get Battle.net here, like this, and install. The location, you can create a desktop, not for Steam, and continue. So I'm a Diablo player, so I need Battle.net on my system. There we go, and you just go up in the right corner, install. Here is the bind I'm talking about. Now it's going Windows mode. There we go. And now you have the launch for this one. I'm not going to tinker more. It's pretty much standard, right? You can also search the games in here, and Epic Games Store. If you have Epic Games, you just log into Epic Games right here. Or I can show you another one that I like, called Heroic Game Launcher. We're running a few programs in the background as well. Let's see, let's go with Heroic. It looks like this. You can put it on, pin it down here. Oops. And on the login, you log into Epic Games, GOG, etc. Right? So this is a pretty good launcher. I think that is pretty much everything you need to know. The Discord can help you a lot, or the forums on Cachyos. So if you wonder about things, just drop by and just go to the support tab or a general tab and ask your questions. Alright? Thank you for watching. This was a pretty lengthy video, so take care.